August 24th, 79 AD, the people of Pompeii woke up to a day that had changed their lives forever. Mount Vesuvius erupted around 1 p.m., leaving the entire city frozen in time. The few years leading up to the eruption, there were many warnings, but sadly, the people of Pompeii didn't understand that they were signs of an eruption. The day of the eruption, the sky got dark around 12 p.m., with the eruption following 1 hour later at 1 p.m. Once the people of Pompeii saw the clouds and ash emerge from Mount Vesuvius, they knew their fate. But most people's fate weren't as bad as others. Only 2,000 people died out of 20,000 inhabitants. That means 18,000 people made it out alive to live another day. One of them being Pliny the Younger, who went on to write a letter a few years later telling what had happened on August 24, 79 AD. The first letter he had wrote described what had happened to his uncle. It wasn't until the second letter he wrote to Tacitus that explained what happened to him and his mother on August 25, 79 AD, the day after the beginning of the eruption. In this letter, Pliny had wrote, "Ashes were already falling, not as yet very thickly. I looked round. A dense black cloud was coming up behind us, spreading over the earth like a flood. Let us leave the road while we can still see, I said, or we shall be knocked down and trampled underfoot in the dark by the crowd behind. We had scarcely sat down to rest when darkness fell, not the dark of a moonless or cloudy night, but as if the lamp had been put out in a closed room. You could hear the shrieks of women and the wailing of infants and the shouting of men. Some were calling their parents, others their children or their wives, trying to recognize them by their voices. People bewailed their own fate or that of their relatives, and there were some who prayed for death in their terror of dying. Many besought the aid of the gods, but still more imagined there were no gods left, and that the universe was plunged into eternal darkness forevermore." Pompeii has changed history in many ways, one of the major things being all of the archaeological advancements it has provided. We have been able to learn things about what life was actually like in ancient Roman times. We know what the days were like, what they did for fun, and different types of jobs people had. One of the many interesting things we were able to learn is that most people didn't actually have jobs. The only people who had to work regularly were the lowest of class and slaves. Any upper class people and anyone who owned a slave didn't really have to work, and the people who did only worked for a few hours every day. Pompeii had a very relaxing environment and was said to be almost stress-free. Pompeii is an important part of history because of the way Mount Vesuvius destroyed and preserved the city at the same time. Pompeii not play as a significant of role in history as Mount Vesuvius does, but it is very important. Without Pompeii, we wouldn't know as much as we do about what life was like in 1st century AD. Pompeii was one of the first archaeological discoveries, which led to many advancements in the field, with more discoveries after that. Pompeii has and forever will play a part in history today.